Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, today, you guys, I got a story time coming your way. I really hope that some of you guys can relate to this, and if you can't relate to it, try to find, the positive message that I'm going to try and bring at the end, because this video is going to be it's going to be a lot. So, trigger warning: if you are easily triggered by the talk of needles and syringes and drug abuse, then this might not be the video for you, so you might just want to click off now. Before we get started, if you guys don't mind, please give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know if you've had a similar experience. Also, click the notification bell, slide down and click all, so that way you get notified whenever I upload videos. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And tonight is Friday, so tonight we have our Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous meeting at 7 p.m. Central. So I hope you guys will be able to come to that. We're actually going to be discussing powerlessness in this video this evening on our MARA meeting. And so you guys can call in. It's going to be really interactive, and I'm going to share with you guys the first time I realized I was powerless over drugs and alcohol and what I had to do to make a change. So, and last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because if you're not subscribed, you're doing yourself a disservice. Join the Real Talk Recovery family and go ahead and subscribe. It's free. So, all right, you guys, this is kind of going to be like the video I made the other day, my first time using heroin, only this video is going to be about my first time using methamphetamine. Okay, so I got to go way back in this video to remember, because I really remember the first time I ever shot methamphetamine, and that was because it was such a major, it was just such an intense euphoria when I did that. So if I think all the way back to when I first used methamphetamine, I think it was around 17 or 18 years old. I'm pretty sure. And I was hanging out with this guy named Marco. I'm not going to say his last name, but his name was Marco. And he's Mexican, and I met him through this girl named Jessica that I was friends with for like my whole high school career. And so me and Marco used to hang out all the time. I mean, we'd just go driving around, smoking blunts, drinking alcohol. I would stay the night at his house. He was actually dating one of my friends. So we ran around together a lot. Well, one night he invited me over, and we were just getting high, smoking, drinking, chilling at his house. He lived with his parents, but his parents were like addicts too, so they didn't care that we were getting high. And I remember this like very clearly, because he pulled out methamphetamine, and it was like an off-white, kind of like crumbly, not just smooth powder. It was like chunky is what I mean. He pulled that out, and he was putting it on foil. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm about to smoke some dope. I'm about to smoke some meth, girl. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you want to try it? You guys, first of all, do not smoke off of foil. It literally kills your insides. It's so ghetto. It's so janky. It's just so, you can do better than that. So what you do, it's called floating a boat. What you do is you take a piece of tinfoil and you fold it in half, and then you fold the sides under, so that way those sides like support each side, so that way you don't burn through the foil, because they meet in the middle. And you put on the middle, and then you smoke it. And what it does is it runs down the foil, and as it runs down the foil, it'll crack back, and then you'll smoke it, you'll light it again, and it'll run down the foil, and then it will literally crack back, and the smoke will be coming up, and you put a straw, catch it like that. I remember the taste of it, it was like battery acid and rat poisoning and gasoline all rolled into one taste. It was disgusting. But the minute I smoked that shit, the hair on my head started raising up. I could feel it growing out of my skull. It was like so crazy. And my heart rate started elevating. And that's what got me hooked on methamphetamine, was the stimulant properties, was the ability to have all the energy in the world, not be hungry, and feel like I was literally Superwoman. And not to mention, when I was on dope, when I was on methamphetamine, girl, it made me feel like I was fine. It made me feel like I was the skinniest girl in the whole wide world. So it just gave me so much false confidence. But back then, I didn't realize that it was false confidence. Back then, I was like, this is the shit. This is where it's at. You know what I mean? So once I smoked with Marco for the first time, then I learned how to smoke it different ways. And that's how I started out. Started out smoking it. I would smoke it in glass bowls. I would smoke it in light bulbs. I would do hot rails. Have you guys ever heard of a hot rail? You put yourself a line, you get a glass tube, and you light the end of the glass tube until it's until it's red. And then you stick the cold into your nose and snort up the powder, and you'll blow out smoke. It's crazy. That was one of my favorite ways. And of course I snorted it just regular. Now I'll share with you guys when I transitioned into being an IV user, because I hate to sound like this, but it wasn't until I started intravenously using drugs that my life really hit the shitter. Like my life really fell apart. When I started shooting up is when I caught my felony, when I went to prison, when I lost everything, and then I continued to lose everything, because once I shot up that first time, I never wanted to use drugs any other way but through the needle. The first time I shot up, I was living with a dope cook. It was probably like a 2-3 bedroom trailer, and I was basically helping him, okay? I was like his right-hand girl. He was cooking. I was making sure that people that came to the door, were served and then went on their way. We had a camera system hooked up so we could watch people come up the driveway, and we could watch people leave the driveway. We could see everything that was going around the whole trailer, because we had a surveillance system. It was crazy, you guys. One night, my friend girl went into the bathroom, into the back bedroom with the dope cook, and they were always going in the back bedroom. Everybody always went to the back bedroom when they were getting high, except for me and a couple other people. And that's because we were just snorting it or smoking it. And when they would come out of that back room, they would be like blazing, and I could tell. And so I had never seen anyone shoot up before, ever. I was probably about 23 years old, and they walked back out of the bathroom, and I walked up to them and I said, "What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?" And I went to the back bedroom with them, and that's when they told me they were shooting. They were shooters. And I just told my friend I wanted her to do it for me, and she was like, no, I'm not going to do it for you. And I was like, if you don't do it, I'm going to do it myself. And she did it for me. And right that day when I shot up, I was sprung. I was so hooked that there was no turning back. Now, I was hooked before just from smoking it, but the minute I injected, it was like a whole new world. It was like an addiction on top of an addiction. Everything that I did, I wanted to put it in a syringe. Cocaine, opiates, methamphetamine, crack, anything I could put into a needle, I would put it into a needle so that way I could get the ultimate high. It wasn't until 6 months after I started shooting up. Well, I don't mean it wasn't until. I mean, it was only 6 months after I started shoot up when I caught my felony charge for possession of a controlled substance. And I'm telling you guys, and I don't mean to make it like, oh, if you shoot up, you're way worse of an addict than somebody that doesn't shoot up. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say that there is a there's a severity that comes with injecting drugs, and there is a whole different mindset that comes with injecting. Okay, it's a whole obsession in itself. It's a ritual, and that's what it was like for me. Once I learned how to hit myself, it was a ritual. It was something I had to do every day, and if I didn't do it, then I didn't want to get high. If I didn't have a syringe, I would find one. I wasn't going to waste my drugs doing it any other way than in my arm. So, you know, and I'm telling you guys all these things to tell you that, you know, these are the first times that I can remember using these substances, right? But I was addicted before these first times. I was addicted. I had the disease of addiction in other areas of my life before I ever picked up a drink or a drug. And so I want you guys to think back in your lifetime to before you started getting high. How was your life? Did you have addiction before you started using? Can you remember having maybe issues with dating too many guys or too many girls? Can you remember maybe having obsessive compulsive disorder and maybe hoarding things? Maybe eating too much, overeating is another addiction. Maybe drinking alcohol, alcoholism, that's an addiction. Even before I picked up these substances, I had the disease of addiction in me, and I didn't have the coping skills to make good decisions. That's why I picked up drugs, because I was using drugs to cope with different situations, to escape reality, because I didn't want to live in that reality that I had for myself. I was just graduated college. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I barely passed high school. I almost flunked out, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so instead of, you know, sitting down with my parents and having a conversation and getting some guidance, I went the other way, and I reached for drugs and alcohol. And so that's why it's so important for us to talk to our kids about talking to us and keeping the lines of communication open, because even though my mom and dad talked to me about everything, I still didn't feel like I could go to them, and that's not their fault. Back when we were growing up, it was just more of I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to get in trouble by my mom and dad. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially my dad. I didn't want my dad to be disappointed in me. I didn't want to get in trouble. So I'm just sharing this with you guys because first, one, I find it really interesting to think back on the first time that I ever took part in doing these different substances. Now, you know, the way my addiction started, it started out, you guys, with drinking and smoking marijuana. And then it went to cocaine, and then it went to methamphetamine. So the next video I make, I'm going to share with you guys the first time I ever did cocaine. But I hope you guys, you know, get something out of this video. I hope that if you're struggling with addiction that you can relate. And I hope this gives you inspiration to know that if you've done the same things I've done, you can turn your life around right now. You do not have to live in this chaos and just sick life anymore. You can recover just like I have. And I'm going to keep on sharing my experience with you guys in hopes that it helps you guys change your lives and do better. And if y'all ever need anything at all you have to do is email me or DM me or text me on the Real Talk Recovery phone line. And that number is 501-991-5149. I really do love you guys so much. Y'all mean so much to me, and this channel has helped me in so many ways that I'll never be able to explain to you guys. But being able to share with you guys is a healing process for me. So thank you for allowing me to share, and I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our Medically Assisted Recovery Anonymous meeting. Love you guys.